Yo, what's good, my nephews and nieces? This is your favorite uncle, Uncle Demi, and today I have another special banger for you, right? Today I'm gonna give you some updates on now NBA Live, potential 25, 26, 27, whatever it is. I'm gonna give you the last and final update, but before we get into the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. It's like the video, push the video to the recommended, and of course subscribe and put you a noti gang for my daily uploads. Without further ado, let's hop straight into the video. Okay, so first and foremost, we all know my last video I did maybe like a week and a half ago on NBA Live and showing on LinkedIn that, you know, there were people that were still working on NBA Live. Also went and saw that, you know, there was an account, you know, somebody potentially was leaking information because that individual account was then banned on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So you're not going to ban an account unless there was some type of validity to what that account was saying. It wasn't like that account was pretending to be EA, because it wasn't. There was no type of parody in that. And it wasn't like they were doing any violations as far as like TOS, right? You know, like racial slurs or, you know, just stuff like that, right? So if that was the case, if it wasn't neither one of those, then why would you ban that account, right? And then last and final thing from that previous video was we saw that my man Herb, who does a lot for, I think, the New York Post or some, I can't remember what post he works for, but he again was all caught up in that momentum, and he said he reached out to somebody and they said they wanted to know where to have him, I guess what department he could speak to be able to get that information. But again, if EA was not making that game, there wouldn't be a department, right? If EA wasn't making that game, she would have just flat out said that, or in that type of realm, right? So, I mean, y'all get the gist of things. Those are three things I talked about in the last video. It lets me believe that it's still active. But then EA has came with a update, okay? So EA, if you go to their page, EA has updated their NBA Live stuff, and it says it's in the game. That's EA Sports. It's why we create the products we do, that so that millions of players around the world can grow their love of sport. For the past few years, we've been making real progress with NBA Live, but we're still not where we want to be. So with continued support from the NBA and the NBPA, which is the National Basketball Players Association, we've been working on something new and meaningfully different, an experience that operates at the pace of culture, and we will change the way you can play, connect, and create in basketball. We're excited by what we've built so far, and yet we know the world is changing. New platforms are coming that will bring social connection, accessibility, and player creativity to the fore. In a future of new possibilities, players shouldn't be content with a game built for today's realities, and based on what we know to be possible, we feel we can go so much further with the new design. So, we're not launching a new NBA Live AC product this season. Instead, we're expanding our vision, learning hard into the new leading edge platforms, and taking the time to ensure we deliver against the opportunity of our players. We're continuing to work closely with the NBA and NBPA on this project and commit to returning with more details next year. Until then, we'll be building. So next year, it says into more details next year. So does that mean 2K26? NBA Live 26 is potentially on its way? You see what I'm saying? And then they keep on talking about new platforms. I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, they're not talking about consoles, like the next gen consoles. Obviously, those have been out for mad years. But what new platforms are they talking about? Maybe it's like, you know, it's some type of like maybe computer program. Maybe there's some new programs or something. I don't know, man. Like, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. But they said they're building for the future. A player says, in the future of new possibilities, players shouldn't be content with the game built for today's realities and based on what we know to be possible. What in the heck are they talking about? Like, just make the game. So sometimes there's a lot of written jargon. I don't know, man. This could be ChatGPT right here. But I do find it kind of funny that this is what they came out with. So another thing that I'll take out of this, and I think a lot of you should take out of this, is that obviously they're still working with the NBA and the NBPA. So that means they obviously still have some type of deal with them, to be working with them closely and still being associated with them. So I'm not sure what their contract is. I'm not sure where that lies. I tried looking for it, couldn't find anything on it, but obviously they're still in a deal and a contract with them. And I'm pretty sure if you sign a deal, I do not know if it's a two-way street, meaning that, hey, you sign this contract, we expect, you know, a release every single year or something like that. Because believe it or not, like Sony has a deal with Spider-Man, right? Everybody knows that Spider-Man, even though it's a Marvel IP, Spider-Man, Marvel a long time ago signed a deal with Sony. But Sony, part of that deal was that Sony will have to drop a Spider-Man every 2 years, and if they don't, then that IP, the Spider-Man, will go back to Marvel. So Sony has to continue to drop a Spider-Man every 2 years, and if they don't, then they lose out. Now, I don't know if that's the case for EA and the NBA. I mean, well, I rephrase that. I know that because they haven't dropped one since, 2019, but maybe they have to continue to just show progress. Like, I just can't see an NBA, yeah, they got the money, but they also want to make sure the intellectual property is in good hands and being taken care of. So in my humble opinion, something is going on, right? Like, again, I can go by the list again of the last video. They still, if you look on LinkedIn, they still have people that are working in that department. They just clearly said next year. It says and commit to returning with more details next year. So there's a lot here. There's a lot to break down and digest, but in my humble opinion, I think we can finally close the door on the fact that it's not coming back. It is coming back. I don't know if they're going to try to do some type of big thing like they did for NCAA football. Maybe in a couple weeks or a month or two, we'll get like some type of little 3-4 second reel showing a potential of a basketball game coming out. And remember, that's what they did for EA. Did for football. They did like this little 10-second reel, and then everybody knew it was coming back. And that was like a year ago. So now obviously it's coming out in a few weeks. So I'm thinking that maybe something like that will happen. But now we got the proof. Like, we officially got this from EA that they're still working on it, and they will give us an update next year. So we'll see how that goes. But y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about that. Are y'all excited about this? They've been gone for a while. The high expectations. Remember, this is going to be their first knock at next gen console. Are they going to be doing PC? Because 2K doesn't do PC. There's a lot of questions we have, but I think for right now, this is where I will close up my content on NBA Live. Like, they have came out officially with it. Electronic Arts have came out officially with their update, and that's pretty much it. So other than that, it's your favorite old head, Uncle Jimmy. I'll be back really, really soon with the banger, man. When I say back soon with the banger, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.